Now, as we're already more than halfway through version 1.4, it would be about time to consider preparing for our very first limited support character dropping very soon. Astra Yao will be the first character of version 1.5 and is most likely going to be an extremely valuable character, since not only is she expected to be the very first healer, but should be an even better buffer than Caesar for DPS characters since she is a support. So to ensure those that are aiming to pick up Astra Yao are fully prepared, I'll be going through the Ascension and skill upgrade materials required, a potential best team synergies, viable W engines, describe sets to farm, and for those that might be slightly unsure, if you should summon for Astra Yao. Just before we jump into it, as always, would really appreciate it if you could subscribe for more ZenlessZoneZero content and drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Now, kicking it off with the materials Astra Yao would require, given she is a support character, she would then require 4 basic support certification seals, 32 advanced support certification seals, and 30 ruler certification seals. In addition, she'll need 25 basic ether chips, 75 advanced ether chips, 250 specialized ether chips, and 5 hamster cage passes to completely max her out. As for the expert challenge materials, she will need 60 thunderous dragons, and regarding the weekly boss, you'll need to farm the twin marionettes boss to pick up 9 finale dance shoes. Then, as always, you'll need 3.7 million dennies on hand to utilize these materials for Astra Yao. Moving on to Astra Yao's team synergies, as mentioned, she will be an ether type support and will most likely specialize in massively buffing DPS characters. So with that in mind, the best team composition would definitely be Zhu Yuan, Changli, and Astra Yao. As of now, Zhu Yuan is one of the only 2 ether characters in the game and is the only ether attacker, which means she would benefit the most from Astra Yao as they both do share the same element. In specific, there will likely be an ether type exclusive buff alongside a universal damage increase buff. So overall, even though other DPS characters may benefit from Astra Yao, Zhu Yuan will likely benefit the most and would fully utilize the buffs from Astra Yao's kit. Therefore, with Zhu Yuan's current performance feeling slightly lackluster in comparison to anomaly DPS characters, Astra Yao will be able to provide a significant boost to maybe just allow Zhu Yuan to not only be the best attacker once again, but to possibly be featured amongst one of the best teams in the game. Then with Changli on the team, as most should know, she will be able to buff Zhu Yuan's burst damage significantly, given she is able to increase the stun damage multiplier by a massive 80%. On top of that, Changli is of course able to stun enemies often and deal considerable damage, which makes her an extremely valuable asset to the team and especially for Zhu Yuan, since she pretty much activates both of Zhu Yuan's core skills by herself. So without a doubt, Astra Yao's best team would be alongside Zhu Yuan and Changli. But with that being said, Changli isn't a must as Astra Yao will mainly be focusing on buffing Zhu Yuan. So as for Changli's alternatives, you could use other stun characters such as Anby, Camellya, and even Lighter. Of course, you might not fully utilize their kits and the buffs they provide, but as a stun character to simply stun enemies often, they would be viable options, and specifically with Lighter, despite Zhu Yuan not making use of the ice and fire damage increase buffs and resistance shred, Lighter would still synergize with Zhu Yuan since she is an attacker and can also extend the stun window by 3 seconds, which would provide Zhu Yuan with even more time to deal burst damage. Alternatively, and a bit more unconventional, but you could use Astra Yao alongside Zhu Yuan and Nicole to form a mono ether team. Despite being an A rank character, Nicole still holds incredible value with her crowd controlling abilities, along with reducing enemies' defense by 40% and provides a 25% ether damage increase for the team. So Zhu Yuan would then be a hyper carry stacked with a ton of buffs from Astra Yao and Nicole, which makes this an interesting team to consider instead of completely replacing Nicole with Astra Yao. Now, since Astra Yao is expected to be a generalist support for attackers, then there are plenty of other attackers that would synergize with Astra Yao instead of Zhu Yuan, such as Haramasa, Ellen, and even Evelyn once she does drop. As of now, Haramasa's best support is Rina and Ellen's is Sokaku, but it's likely Astra Yao will outperform and replace them with the buffs she can provide along with the ability to heal. Just due to the fact that Astra Yao can possibly heal, it not only makes her an amazing support for attackers but possibly even for anomaly DPS characters. Of course, whether Astra Yao synergizes with anomaly characters would depend on the exact buff she provides, since if she provides a massive attack buff like Caesar does, then pretty much any DPS character would benefit and would deal much more damage. However, since Astra Yao is expected to heal through her abilities, even if she provides crit buffs instead of a general attack buff, the heal alone would still be extremely valuable as it can help players struggling with content. Although, with that being said, Miyabi being a hybrid between both anomaly and attacker means she would benefit from Astra Yao either way. So a team consisting of Miyabi, Yanagi and Astra Yao would likely be an amazing team composition, which is guaranteed to buff Miyabi's damage regardless of the type of buffs Astra Yao can provide. In addition, since Astra Yao is a support character, she would then activate Miyabi's second core skill, which would allow for Yanagi to be replaced by any other anomaly character if you don't have her. So overall, essentially just like Caesar, Astra Yao is going to be extremely valuable for a lot of DPS characters and will hold immense value. But of course I still believe Jiyan would benefit the most as her and Astra Yao do share the same attribute. Now in terms of viable W engines, we do already know which ones would be viable due to Astra Yao's exclusive disk drive set, which hints at the fact that she will scale off attack through the two-piece effect. With that in mind, it's almost certain that Astra Yao's signature W engine will provide attack percent as the main stat, and it would of course be the best in slot. However, as for a few alternative options to utilize instead of the signature, the Bashful Demon is actually the only support W engine that provides attack percent as the main stat, along with the passive increasing ice damage and all squad members attack by up to an additional 12.8% at max refinement. So as much as the ice damage increase really wouldn't be utilized, the attack main stat and attack bonus from the passive would greatly benefit Astra Yao. Alternatively, Kaboom the Cannon provides an energy regen main stat, along with increasing attack by up to 16% for allies through the passive at max refinement. Despite this W engine having an energy regen main stat, it would certainly still be beneficial as most supports do benefit from energy regen, but especially if Astra Yao's attack requirement isn't that high, then it would make Kaboom the Cannon a solid option. Lastly, since it is the only S-rank support W engine, it is at least worth mentioning that despite the Weeping Cradle doesn't provide any attack bonus through the main stats or passive, it does increase pen ratio through the main stats along with the passive increasing energy regen when off field and allies damage. In addition, since it is an S-rank W engine, it will have a higher base attack than any other support W engine. So the Weeping Cradle might not be able to contribute in boosting Astra Yao's attack, but it will still provide solid value as an alternative. So those would be a few viable W engines for Astra Yao, but if you do of course want the best build, picking up the signature W engine will be essential in allowing Astra Yao to be easier to build and to perform at her best. Especially since Astra Yao is a support character, and going off other Hoyoverse games with their support characters, the signature W engine would be completely worth it since Astra Yao is likely going to hold more longevity than majority of other characters. Now as for disk drive sets to farm for Astra Yao, as many players might already know, Astra Yao's best in slot disk drive set has already been released alongside Miyabi's exclusive set. The Astral Voice is a great set for pretty much all support, but it is clearly tailor-made for Astra Yao, since the two-piece effect provides a 10% attack bonus which helps in reaching Astra Yao's attack requirement, and with the four-piece effect, the on-field character can receive up to a 24% increase in damage. So this set is perfect and would be the best set to farm right away if you are planning to pick up Astra Yao. However, as mentioned, the set is great for all support since it does provide the on-field DPS with a damage boost, which means you can farm and utilize this set on any support, and if you do change your mind later on to summon for Astra Yao, you will likely have a set already prepared for her release. As for the two-piece sets to pair with the Astral Voice, the Swing Jazz set would be ideal since it does provide a 20% energy regen increase, which then would allow for Astra Yao to pop her EX skill more often. Though if you do require slightly more attack to reach Astra Yao's attack requirement, then the Hormone Punk set would be ideal since it does provide a 10% attack bonus. Lastly, depending on how much damage Astra Yao would be capable of dealing, the Chaotic Metal set could be viable since Astra Yao is going to be stacked with attack. Although I do believe either the Swing Jazz set or the Hormone Punk set would be more ideal and safe to pre-farm over the Chaotic Metal set. As for the exact main stats to prioritize for these disk drives, the 4th disk drive will certainly want attack percent the most. The 5th disk drive could also want attack percent, but ether damage bonus could also be viable if you don't require that much attack, and regarding the final disk drive, it will again be down to whether you need more attack or not, since if you do, then attack percent will of course be priority, but if not, then energy regen will instead be the best main stat to aim for. As for substats, attack percent and flat attack are certainly the best two substats for Astra Yao. Then anomaly proficiency and pen would likely be the remaining substats to focus on pulling to maximize the amount of DPS Astra Yao can deal. Now as for should you summon for Astra Yao, immediately with the fact that she is our first limited support character and given the track record of support in other Hoyoverse games, I would say she is a must pull for any player that is focused on meta, or just wants to have a more comfortable experience since endgame content is no doubt becoming increasingly difficult, which means a healer might be more than necessary for some players. Now if you especially have Jiyan as one of your main damage dealers, Astra Yao is then arguably even more of a must pull since Jiyan will synergize more than anyone with Astra Yao. If you don't, then as mentioned, Astra Yao will still be an amazing generalist buffer for attackers and possibly for anomaly characters, which also means her team flexibility will be amongst the best in the game as she does synergize with any DPS. Therefore, Astra Yao will be an amazing long-term investment for your account and will provide more value for your polychromes than majority of other characters. Of course, if you don't want to or don't like Astra Yao, then it's completely down to you to skip. But just bear in mind, supports don't drop as often and Astra Yao's rerun is likely going to be paired with a highly valuable character in typical Hoyoverse fashion. So the initial banner release really will be the best time to pick up Astra Yao. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe for more ZenlessZoneZero content, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Also drop a comment down below on whether you will be summoning for Astra Yao and who exactly will you be running her with. And yeah, hope to catch you guys later.